stand, please. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ask you all, please silence your electronic devices. Roll call. Steve Yule is here. Mrs. Broadbent. Mr. McGowan is here. First order of business is I will entertain a motion for the appointment of Mr. Paquin.
So moved.
Move. Trustee Broadbent, second. Second by Trustee Violi. All in favor?
Can I just give a quick comment?
Yes.
And this just really goes to the fact that we had other people reach out, and I think it would be disingenuous for us as a board to have anybody other than Greg right now, because there is so much going on. And it's really not fair to the taxpayers either. You're to leave all the department heads hanging. What I would suggest, all these individuals that were interested, next year there's a mayor spot open, there's 2 trustees. They should throw their hat into the ring. And actually we have a zoning board opening and a planning board opening. It's a great way for people to learn the code, so maybe they could reach out if they're really interested in that.
Good.
So I just want to give my 2 cents on that. I know there's a lot going on, and I think if we do something different, it would just throw a monkey wrench in everything that's going on.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
So now
Mr.
we,
Paquin, please come forward for your oath.
I can't hold it right at the same time.
I can hold it.
Ready? I, Gregory M. Paquin,
I, Gregory M. Paquin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of village mayor
the duties of village mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
There you go.
Thank you, and I apologize for putting everybody through that. As I said prior, it was important for the financial security of my wife and my family if something were to have happened to me between now and days. So thank you. Moving on, the approval of the minutes for July 15th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Simpson, second. Second by trustee Viola. Additions, deletions, discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Report of the officers and committees, treasurer's report.
All right. I filled your inboxes again with some more reports. You should have what I believe to be the final numbers for 24, 25 projections. We've got all my numbers in. I need a post that you would be seeing as budget and revenue, for expenses and revenues. The only thing that's left now for the balance sheet is the long-term debt fund, which I'm still getting numbers to adjust to what they need to be. So I included in here the 24-25 final numbers of where we're at. I also have the preliminary, kind of as we're going here, getting started with 25-26, just getting underway. All the department heads have gotten their projections as well, so their boxes are full as well. The annual update document for joint recreation is due So that's been submitted and completed all before the deadline, so that's taken care of. Just wait for any questions they may have. I'm, as far as I can go right now, on the AUD for the village, which is due by the end of the month. I can't go any further until I get certain more things, one of them being New York State retirement long-term liabilities that they still haven't pushed out, so. I just got my OPEB numbers today, so I can go in and make those adjustments, but I have no idea how long it's gonna take New York State to push out those numbers. The last couple, 3 years, it's been getting later and later each time, so. Hopefully they get that soon, because I really can't move into the financial statements until those are. Number 5 is for the tax collections, so we close the business. August 8th, we collected $6,186,264. Roughly 86% of the total adjusted warrant. Last year about this time was 89.2. We're going to continue to collect until the end of September. By the time we turn that over to the county. I will say that today I changed the way that we're collecting credit cards. It has been in the past, they can contact us and process it. I had it turned on now, and all the paperwork done to be able to have them go right directly to the tax lookup website, much like how the town is set up, and you can pay it right through there. So it hasn't been really a full rollout. I anticipate doing more kind of a social media push for next year, but at least right now, if I can get it working, I can kind of test it and make sure it's working okay before we ramp it up next year. But that is operational. Number 6 is sales tax in the county. For our fourth quarter came in at $606,139, which was a $126,932 decrease, or 17.3% from the same period last year. We still made budget for the year, but only by $41,521. We had budgeted $2,350,000. We came in at $2,391,521. So I don't know if it's going to be the new trend. What's going on with the cross border? You have to wonder, is that does that have an impact? I don't know, but it certainly makes me wonder what we're going to be seeing coming forward. Number 7 was the bond payment was made July 15th for the sidewalk plow. $30,000 principal and $173 interest, and that bond is now fully paid for. So we don't have to pay for that in the budget for next year. It's all taken care of this year. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Ed. Committees, code?
So I met with Aaron on Friday, and there is some good news. Grass complaints are down, right, Aaron?
Nothing's growing right now.
The other bad news is that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been turned over to the attorney. I think most people are aware. There's a whole bunch of apartments where out-of-town property owners have decided to walk away from their responsibilities. I don't know if we have to start thinking, because I know the attorney's working on it, but I don't know if we have to start doing something else with those properties, a whole bunch of them later. So you guys are always busy, other than Nebraska things, maybe. Am I missing anything?
Nope.
DPW?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, DPW, sorry.
DPW.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Marty's not here tonight, he had another meeting to attend to, so he apologizes for not being here. So there's a lot going on with DPW. They're doing some jetting, sewer backups. Douglas and Owl Street are the main focus as far as road construction. They're backing off of Douglas Street right now, primarily because they want to finish Owl Street. That's where the school traffic is going to be at Owl Street. They finished digging that out and putting in the sewer lines. And hopefully this week he said we're going to put the first coat of pavement down the street. We're doing sweeping and patching throughout the town. switch gear at the sewer plant has been replaced. They got them in again, and it is moving properly now. School business, starting, continuing to work on that, continuing to work on Center Street culvert project. And Marty asked me specifically to ask about the community center. And they are asking to do the floors in there in the main hall, but it's gonna cost more. So he's,
I had told Mike Ramonde, who cleans there, that I would have Marty bring it up at the next meeting because he wasn't here. So I do have the estimate downstairs in my office. However, it's not just the main. They'll do the large room, the hallways, some other areas as well.
have they given you an estimate already?
Yes,
They have.
but I just,
We have to vote on it.
yeah, but I mean, it's downstairs. It's something
Okay.
we can discuss at the next meeting. I told the cleaner that's what we would do, and he said it's.
Just to add on, the rec is, they're taking all of that responsibility over, correct?
They haven't yet. I actually was gonna
Okay.
mention that later,
Okay,
so
I just thought I would.
do, so I made revisions to the current policy and sent those to, Mike McCabe, the recreation director. I am recommending that, he didn't respond yet, I think he's at an office today, but, once the policy's adopted by the board and joint rec commission, they'll take over. I'm hoping sooner rather than later. I am proposing that we implement fees, beginning January 1st, for use for special events, such as, bridal showers, baby showers, birthday parties. It would be $25 for a Massena resident plus $100 fully refundable damage deposit, and then a non-Massena resident, it would be $50. Same thing. And once that I get his comments and revisions back, I'll present it to the board for their review and approval at the September meeting.
As far as that goes too, will that change as far as Marty was asking, like, when I had a meeting with him, about
Maintenance.
Monday mornings? He says he goes every Monday to check.
He,
Is rec gonna be taking over that?
yes, however, the maintenance part, I'm not sure how that is gonna work. Currently, DPW handles any maintenance over there, so that's another discussion between Mike, Marty, myself, and the board. I'm not certain if recreation has the manpower to take over those types of things, but
Isn't that maintenance cost split 50/50 by the village and town?
yes, no, it's not, only equipment is.
And major projects.
The question came up because he said over this past weekend, he went in and it was quite dirty.
Yep, somebody reported that to us.
So,
He actually didn't check it this week, so they don't even, they're not certain when the mess was left. So it's hard without checking it every day or checking it on the weekends when it's utilized the most to determine if there's damage, if there's garbage left, and by who. So,
okay.
Any
Those are
cameras?
things we need to know. So,
exterior, various, but not in the large room.
that's all I got.
Good,
Yep.
economic community development, fundraising by the committee led by Schilling Pizza starting for the Fall Fest downtown. So that's ongoing. Do we have anything else? And obviously a lot of our projects downtown are in full swing.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna give a little bit of an update after.
okay, yeah, let's do that.
Right now?
Sure.
Okay, so the theater, obviously the work on the facade is begun, and, lunchtime live. It's pretty awesome. It brings back a sense of community pride as well. That they have those every Thursday, except for this Thursday, because Allison's not available, from 11:30 to 1, right in front of the theater. Before the marquee, they're gonna do they're planning a flip the switch street party for Wednesday, October 15th, and so the marquee will be up and officially lit up on that date. They're finalizing phase 3 of the design with Lobella and meeting with other theaters to gather ideas and best practices. The streetscapes, I just got, and I apologize, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything and get caught up. Lobella, we have the professional services agreement, and we'll begin introductory meetings with planning meetings with the DRI committee within the next 2 to 3 months. The School of Business is progressing. We'll be having bi-weekly meetings starting Thursday. And that's it, pretty much.
Emergency services.
Reached out to, we uncovered a small snafu in the agreement with E5. Unfortunately, Ben caught it, so I reached out to Doug. We're just tweaking the language a little bit. Should have that done soon.
But, and I'll bring it up later, we're going to need a special board meeting early September.
Okay. That's all I can report.
For police, early last week, I talked to Cody about cameras around the village and how some work and some don't. I've asked Cody to look at other options for cameras and better work and ones that work better, and so forth. And I don't need anything tonight, but in the future, hopefully get back to us and give us some better options for cameras. Not that we want a police camera state, but we at least want the cameras that we have working.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
As everybody knows, we have a large group of people that like the e-bikes and scooters, and I'm talking adults. I don't know if there's what we can do as a village to address, because there's no regard to anybody that's driving, or people on sidewalks, or, so I know there was already a major incident last month. I don't know, I'm not, it's not really the kids, but it's these adults that don't care, and they just think they have the right of way.
So there is laws, we're educating it's new, obviously,
Right, okay.
So we're educating our officers to what is on the books right now. It does say right in the laws that the village can create a local ordinance to restrict it even more. I will say, they're not allowed on any, like, highways over 30 miles an hour, so on the main highway, they're not supposed to be there. Any kid under 16 cannot be on it.
It's gonna be tough.
Right, so the officers the biggest push, we don't want a kid to get hurt or anyone to get hurt. So one of the biggest pushes that I'm pushing on the guys right now is to, if we do see a kid, stop them, talk to the parents, educate everybody that we can possibly educate. Because in this situation, if a parent is observing the child doing it, we can issue a citation to the parent.
Motorized bike or motorized scooter?
It's both of them.
Okay.
It's just, so there's different, so there's the electric scooter, there's a definition, and there's also a bicycle with the electric assist, and there's 3 different levels of that. But again, this is all new. Also, we're looking for a local training, so I can send an officer to it, so that way he's my point of contact, knows the ins and outs of everything involved. But we're in the beginning stages, but there is a chance if we want to create local laws to restrict it further, that it does say right in the vehicle and traffic law that you can do that as a village.
I will say, up in my neck of the woods, the kids were running rampant.
Yes.
But, to their credit, as the summer has gone on, they've been much better. They stop at stop signs, they have helmets on finally. So at least it appears that some sense of education is occurring. But, yeah. So
Yeah, a lot of it, it's the adults, you go over Parker Avenue Bridge, and they could care less that you're driving down.
Yes.
You guys witnessed it.
There was somebody going on the
bicycle. Even without motorized bicycles, they're supposed to follow the rules of the roadway, they're not supposed to be on the sidewalks. They have to go with the flow of traffic, it's the same concept.
Excuse me goes a long way, but that's hard to say too, so.
Any ideas of going into the schools to educate the kids?
We can, once Officer Flynn gets back, we can really get behind this and truly get an understanding and then present something for sure.
Idea. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Negotiations, have anything?
Just mentioned.
Yeah. Personnel, unfortunately, we see we have a retirement tonight. A few other resignations that we have to deal with. Rec Commission?
The meeting was moved to this Thursday, so I have really nothing to report.
That brings us to the initial public comment period. Anyone wishing to address the board, please state your name, address. Try to keep it 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
I wrote something up. My name's Angela Soche, I reside at 12 Cumming Street. My husband and I have lived there for 13 years. In the last couple of years, we've been experiencing a lot of nuisance with our neighbors. People are living out of a shed out back, and also living out of a camper. And before I read anymore, I know the police have been there so many times, but I want other people aware of it as well.
Sure.
They come every time, and they're really good, but I want to read a little bit more. So it's not just families, it's just men strung out on drugs and registered sex offenders. They start their day around 5 or 6 in the afternoon and they go all night. On 5 Randall Court, I've seen things like large propane tanks outside of the windows with hoses going into the house, naked men tweaking out on drugs out back to where I had to call Massena PD. All while I'm raising 2 boys, 10 and 13. Thankfully, my children were on in the inside with a naked man incident. But that's the thing, I don't know when each day is going to bring. Another incident was 4 or 5 days before Christmas, a lady that was residing at this home decided to walk into my house. I was listening to an audiobook and my son was on his VR playing on the couch. I look up and she was standing behind him. I did chase her out of my house. Fast forward to Christmas Day, she was then in my windows. I did describe her to the police, and they did find her on Christmas Day, and needless to say, the Massena PD did take care of her with trespassing, but it doesn't end there. I've seen possible ODs, people puking out of windows, the garbage burning, the bonfires are so high, and I have called the non-emergency number, I do that. Their fires are so high that they're burning like mattresses and chairs. The fires are higher than the house. And then the ambers go above our house. And the smell it's garbage, it's bad. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. That's okay. Anytime the police are called, the people from the shed and the camper literally, they run before most of the police get there. So they're gone, but they know enough to come back within a half an hour after the police leave. They're back doing the same exact things. I want my kids, and I know it's an epidemic, but I guess I wanted my voice to be heard, that my children shouldn't have to get out of the pool because somebody's tweaking out back or naked, or the garbage that we're breathing in, plus they don't. So from their camper, I was sitting on the deck and I thought there was a meth lab going on. All I could smell is ammonia and awful smells. So I got my kids out of the pool and I had people over that day, so that's embarrassing. I pulled them to the front of the house and of course I called Massena PD. What they did is they're dumping their sewage in their backyard. And it's awful. It's awful. I don't know what we can do, and I know they're doing everything, but over in that area, it's never seen this before. And I did get a privacy fence. That's what I'm an educator. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Massena. I got a privacy fence, and that still doesn't keep it off. It doesn't keep it away. So.
Sir, you were, go ahead.
I
I was just gonna say, I live around the corner from here, Brandon Bolster, I live at 30 Randall Drive. I work for the state of New York for the sex offender treatment program up in Augsburg, so I kind of make it my point to know where the pedophiles live in the area. I'm a single dad of an 8-year-old girl. Like I said, I live around the corner from Angie. When they do dump their sewage out of their camper, I can smell it around the corner at my house. I'm very hesitant when my daughter's with me every other week to let her go play around the corner with Angie's kids because of what's going on in her backyard. It's very, and there's, I mean, that whole neighborhood is loaded with children. My neighbors 2 doors up have 5 little boys. One of my friends has 2 daughters, lives at the T right there, the Randall and Cummings. There's too many kids around there to have stuff like that.
And the guy just seems to let anybody.
Yeah.
And he says he's not going to let people live there, and he's trying to pick, but it's a revolving door. It's like they leave, and I get it, it's an epidemic, that's what we're in right now, but.
It's, you'll see an increased police presence. The chief is aware of this. Also, we've started the process, naming this a nuisance property.
Okay.
Think 18 Park.
No, it's 5 Randall Court.
No, I know,
Previous one.
but we did this at 18 Park, and we
Oh.
basically took control of the
Okay,
building and shut
I'm
it
sorry.
down. And that's the same path we're starting now.
Thank you so much.
In the meantime, they said the police will be there and code will be there.
Like I said, they've been wonderful, like, I just need it,
I
like
warn you.
my boys, I
it-
need to protect
It's a
them.
process.
I get
And
that.
trust
Just-
me, we all wish we could snap our fingers, but as long as we're starting the process, we're on that road. Go ahead.
So I don't live there, I live on Ransom Ave, but I visit Angie a lot. My name is Janik Ojic. So several years ago, I was a foster parent, and I've adopted since a lot of my foster teens. But I had issues at that same house where I had to go and get my foster children or previous foster children. So this has been this was about 3 years ago, so this has been an ongoing issue. And I feel really bad for this community because Angie and the neighborhood is really, it's a nice neighborhood. I go not very often now because these folks are being held under hostage by this situation. And I even went as far when we were talking, I looked at your bylaws, I looked at what we're doing, and I'm not condemning, I'm not saying that you guys are not trying, but there has to be something in there. Because it's clearly they have radars or whatever they call them to hear when the police are coming, because the day she was talking about, and of course my children that I've adopted all have generational traumas due to drugs, law enforcement, those types of things. So when I was at her house and they're in the pool and we smelt the ammonia and the urine and we were like, oh my God, and I was like, meth lab. That was the first thought. And some of my children were just like, they panicked, it triggered them. So as she said, we got the kids out of the pool, brought them to the front, and the police are very, very nice. They came right away. But as soon as the call was made, it was like you shook a beehive. They were like all over the place. They were like, doom! And we could actually see them coming out of this place that has an air conditioner with an extension cord. And it was lit. I was surprised there was that many individuals in this unit, and they ran. So police was great, but by the time they got there, there was nothing they could do, right? It was illegal dumping of sewage. So I guess what I'm saying is there's been several incidents. I've only been to her house 3 times this year because I feel for them, and I love this community, and they all hang out together, and the kids but they're not safe. And I'm not comfortable coming over. There was one day before she was able to put the privacy, and what she hasn't said is they had a cedar edge on their property. They dug them up to sell them for drugs, so they took the edge out, so that's why she had to put a privacy fence up. But I was there one time, and I was shocked. We had 2 individuals. They were kind of not fighting, but verbally, and it was like, no, it's my bike, no, it's my bike. I stole the bike, it's my bike. That's the kind of conversations you're hearing. And you have all these young people, because her house is a safe place, so there's a lot of young kids that are there, and Angie has to be forced to tell the kids, okay, everybody get out of the pool. She cannot, and the other neighbors around cannot enjoy their own private homes, right? So yes, we're doing nuisance laws, and yes, we're trying to address it, and, you know, I think that when you're doing that, highly recommend that you look at what kind of ways can you protect the homeowners, because those folks have no protection. I looked at our nuisance laws. I looked at, you know, the different things that we have, and our law enforcement is, you know, their hands are tied. You know, our public safety hands are tied. Code enforcers' hands are tied, because it feels these, and I get that it's an epidemic, right? But you also make a choice. And I understand when I've noticed that once the village put the ordinance in place to evict people out of the village property, it shifted them. Where did they go, right? Well, they went to homes like that, right? And what concerns me is I see these very young girls, I don't even know if they're 18, very young girls that come over and they go into this shed with all these other people, and then they're coming back out, and they're young. I don't even know if they're 18. If they're not on drugs, they're going to be, because that's where they're at, right? And so I guess it's a concern. Yes, it's an epidemic. Yes, we need to fix it. You know, it doesn't take just one homeowner, it takes a whole bunch of folks, but I feel for them. I really, really feel. And then I was telling Angie that when, from her house that day that they all like scattered like bees, I was sitting on my porch, and then I all of a sudden realized that two of those people that had run were actually casing my neighborhood. So, you know, calling my neighbors saying, hey, did you see those two guys? Because we all have Ring cameras, and then they looked at it, and one of my neighbors went up to him and said, hey, if you're casing the place, just know we all have cameras. And then that was the end of that, right? So I'm just saying, it's very difficult. This neighborhood is held in hostage. It's not just, you know, recent. I know I've experienced issues with that place from like 2-3 years ago. So I just, you know, as a witness, that's all I'm saying. I can't talk about all the other stuff that I didn't witness, but being there and witnessing that, it's very, very sad. And is there anything that we can do? You say you want to address the nuisance, how long is it going to take? Is it going to take a year? Are we going to find something to be able to address this?
It
And
took us
she's
6
right.
months for the 18 part.
6 months? So has,
In the meantime, like I said, you'll see an uptick in police presence. You'll see those there more often than I see them. Be there more often.
are we going to have some, like, I appreciate you guys are going to have the higher police presence, but there is, I hope you all understand that these children that are experiencing this are going to have trauma from it. I've been a long time foster parent. I was a therapeutic home, and dealing with that, these children, even though they come from great, his daughter, her kids, the neighborhood kid, seeing this is making it in their little minds, because they're young, right? It's going to be 1, trauma, 2, an acceptable behavior. Because we teach our kids, be law abiding, listen to the police. You know, you have to be a good citizen. And then you have these children that are seeing the police come, and their hands are tied, they can't do anything. So what message are we sending to these young kids right now? It is going to have a long-term impact on all of those children from those neighborhoods, because what's happening is being normalized, and that is scary. I see what those types of environment becoming normalized, what happens by these children that I've had in foster care. So I appreciate you listening. I'm not scolding any of you guys. I just want you to be aware that the decisions that you guys are making is not just impacting those individuals that make that choice, but the future generations of Massena.
I would like to add, when I met with Aaron at the fire department on Friday, that was most of our conversation, was your neighborhood. And I know, I don't know the number now, but the village has already spent a large amount of money cleaning up that yard, right? Was it last year, Aaron?
Oh, they just did it recently
We
again.
just did a cleanup, actually, we did a second one too. I was on for a few days, but I think we just did a second one.
You know,
And we have been in contact with our
with
attorney as well.
the attorney,
So,
and, you know, and makes these laws, and then our law enforcement officials.
Is the owner of the property from here, from out of town?
It's, yes, his
Yes.
father's
He lives-
deceased,
Yes.
who you know,
Okay,
Very well.
who would be rolling over in his,
okay.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if that
There's about
individual lives here anymore, I don't think
15 people that live
so.
out back
So,
of the house,
And a little shed.
in a shed, that's
This
big.
is up behind, where is Cummings?
It's
Italian
Italian
Fair.
Fair.
By Italian Fair, that's what I thought.
Another concern, I'm sure you agree too, is because of the amount of drugs and whatever going on down in that other cul-de-sac, I'm seeing in my, excuse me, my side of the cul-de-sac, a huge increase in traffic with no regard for anything. I mean, they fly through that little circle and the side roads, and probably up William Street, the other side road that shoots off, I see a lot of
might be where the
traffic.
scooters are coming from.
There are-
That's what they were fighting about, by the way, it wasn't electric scooter.
I'm not gonna say, all the kids in that area that ride the electric scooters, they're great. They're
They are.
very respectful.
Yes, the kids are.
But the car traffic, I mean, and the way they shoot in and out of there, it's ridiculous. And again, I know you guys say, there's nothing you can do.
No,
I'm not gonna be one of these people
There
who
is
call
stuff
the
that
cops
we can do.
every
It's just
15
going to take
minutes.
time.
Yeah.
That's the
Right,
thing.
right.
There is stuff that we're going to, we can do.
Right.
It's just going to take a little bit of time.
I mean, I moved in 5 years ago, and probably a week after I moved in, the Humvee was parked right there at the T, and it sat there for 3 weeks.
Hey, it slowed down everything.
It definitely did. It definitely did, but I mean, I understand resources and everything, but.
I think a lot of it's just the courts. I know a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with other code stuff, by the time the attorney sends it to the county, it's not a priority to the county, which is sad, right? They put it on the desk over here, and when they get to it, they get to it, in which it's sad. It should, where we all think it's a priority for our community because we live here, and I agree with you, I don't want to see that either. So.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Doug Dilcox, and you might remember, it almost sounds like, it might be the same landlord. Two things. I am fearful that, a repeating cycle. The landlord next to me, I know he's 2 years behind on his taxes. I'd love to see the county foreclose. But at the same time, I seem to remember the county being hesitant of foreclosing on properties where they see a liability. And when you got people living in that property, I'm worried the county won't foreclose, they don't want to be involved. So this situation can continue and go on. I sure would like to know what your legal team comes up with as a plan, just so that people like us would be able to have some peace of mind in being able to see light at the end of the tunnel. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the nuisance law. I read that quite a while ago, and I have a concern about it because the law doesn't outline a good flow of information. And I cornered Chief and Aaron one night months ago after a meeting and asked them who coordinates that. And unfortunately, it's not their fault. They weren't able to give me a good answer because it's not spelled out well in that nuisance law. So things can fall through the crack. I would like to see that addressed in somehow so that there could be a flow of information so that this doesn't continue to repeat itself.
Anything else?
Thank you for listening.
That, like I said, we'll work on it, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thank you. What's that? Anyone else? On to old business, and this is to award the bid for demolition of 4042 Woodlawn. This would be to Republic Services for $79,525. Aaron, anything to add?
No, this is that property we've had, given them numerous opportunities, and they said that they were gonna do something, and nothing has ever happened. You can see we did get 3 bids in, and I'd recommend that the lowest bid of the Republic Services be accepted.
Is there I mean, the property, total value of it is $19,000, and then we're gonna go and sink $79,000 into it, and when they don't pay their taxes again, it's gonna go to the county, and then we're all gonna pay for that.
Well, I guess the only other option would be is we secure it even more and let it sit there until it's taxed.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, unfortunately, those are really the only options we have.
Aaron and I had a good conversation about that too on Friday,
About what?
about this property, yeah. You know, 80 grand is a lot of taxpayer money, because you get another individual who doesn't live in Massena, who thinks they can make a quick dime, and then here we go, us taxpayers are paying for it.
What was the end of your second comment where you said to just secure it and what?
The only other option would be is hire a contracting company to go in there to secure it so it stands long enough till it goes to the tax auction. But someone's, like, who's gonna buy it when it's in that nick of condition?
I need a motion.
So,
Moved by trustee Simpson, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Bowden. Any idea when they would start, Aaron?
no, I told them that I'd reach out to them
Before
once.
winter?
That's when I spoke to them, actually, they had an individual there, they were the only one that was there in person. That's what they're interested in getting it taken care of. When I told them that until I get official approval from the board, they can't really go any farther with it, so.
Monique, you mentioned they haven't paid their taxes, or,
Well, I reached out to, the county to find out, and